welcome to League of Blondes episode 4. 4. I'm Curtis.
I'm Zane.
Chase, Viking Redbeard.
Woo. Yeah, Viking Redbeard. Chase, Viking Redbeard. I'm Curtis James.
Zane Stolzerwolf.
There you
Boom.
go.
We're here.
And today we have the Odell Brewing variety pack. Nice.
Go Odell.
Starting with their extra pale ale.
Don't tell them that I'm drinking a tall grass.
You're gonna drink 4 there, so I think they're okay with it.
Yes.
Touche, right?
Yes.
Alright, so it took forever to get to this episode.
Yes, it
However, playing stages is over.
did. Yes,
over.
it is.
Playing stage is over. There we go.
So, that also means that we're going to change it up a little bit, because as much as I know that all one of you that may or may not be watching us
It's us.
do not want to sit and watch us do this for 2 hours. We're going to kind of cut it down a little bit, get it into like a 45 minute to an hour.
Which also means we need to drink faster.
Or we just drink more off-screen afterwards.
That's acceptable, but
That sounds like a pretty good time.
I don't know that it's preferable.
Nah, that's fair. Alright, so
So let's go ahead and what was the first match? Cloud9 kicked it off
yep.
against who did they
Lion.
play? Lion. Yeah, Lion Gaming. Oh man. So we're gonna go through our predictions as we hit these two. So for that game, let's see. Zane had a 3-2. I had a 3-1, and Chase with the 3-0.
What's up?
Yeah. At this point, Chase is 5-0 on predictions.
Yeah, but don't you guys worry, spoiler alert, I fucked it up.
I mean, for you, that's just really coming back to the mean. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, Cloud9 looked incredible in Game 1.
Yup.
Yeah.
They drafted a super comp.
Oh, yeah?
I mean, like, I thought that was like 2/3 of it. Like, pick screen, they had... Well, I don't know what order they picked in, but
Right.
they
Callista,
had...
Thresh, Gragas, Orianna, and Gnar. That was the order.
Alright, so Gnar is kind of icing on the cake, but
Yeah.
Callista,
Yeah, for
Thresh,
impact.
Orianna, Gragas...
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
Like,
those are comfort champs
that-
across the board for them.
And you see those 4 and you know exactly how they're going to sequence the ults.
Yeah.
And it's...
Yeah, and you know what? I didn't even think about that, but you hit it right on the head. Callista's a comfort pick for Sneaky. Thresh is a comfort pick for Smoothie. Gragas, not as much for contracts, but everybody's played it so much recently, he is comfortable on it. Orianna's a go-to for Jensen, and Gnar on Impact. That's one of those champions where he's a tank, but he can also dominate someone, and he did.
Well, this is a comp that gets banned or picked in every single match.
They got all of them on one side.
And yeah, and usually it's more banned than picked just because. But yeah, this was a sweetheart game for Cloud9. They came in and they just... Yep.
You know, I turned the matches on. I got home after the last recording. You know, episode
You went to the
3.
bathroom and the game was over?
No. Well, so I mean, because obviously they were already like into game 2 probably at that point. But so I turned it on. I went to game 1 while I'm like taking care of some crap at home. It was only like 10 o'clock. I'm like, no big deal. And that one ends. I'm like, shit. I'm just gonna watch this series. And then game 2 happened.
Yeah. Game 2 was a little bit...
I had an alternative idea for how this stream could have gone.
Oh.
It would have just been game 2, screen split, me on one side, the game on the other, me cheering for Lions the whole time, and then by the end of the game, I'm drunk, damning Cloud9 to the lowest depths of hell!
That is how it went for a Lion fan. Absolutely. I mean,
Yeah.
you can't get into a game where you take all but one turret and the Nexus that's behind it and not feel blue-balled by your team.
Oh, yeah. Like, I didn't understand why they didn't push. There was such a missed opportunity.
Like, honestly, there was only one... Like, I think there was a scuffle at Baron, and I thought Jural, rather than continue to fight Baron, he really should have just been a front line, because it was like 3 squishies and 3 squishies just, you know, slapping each
it's
other.
a hard call to make in the time, but I think you're right. I think that would have
Right.
been the better call.
Like, if they'd committed to something, they would have been further
Pulled off
ahead
Baron
rather
and went
than
all
just
in.
separated. That was really the only, like... It wasn't even a game-makingly weird call. It's
Yeah.
just like they'd been alternating team fights and Lion controlled the map the entire game until
They
they
did.
lost.
Well,
they were winning until they lost.
honestly, they
Chico
have no one to blame but themselves. Like, I mean, C9 won 12 to 15. They won despite having fewer kills.
They had a lot more gold, though.
Yeah,
Because
they
if
were
you look
making-
at the graph, they were only ever down by, I think, 4.5 or
Well,
so.
it's because they got all of their kills like very sporadically. Like they weren't like boom, 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 and that's how you get your gold
Well, like-
lead.
Right.
It was like we get one kill every like
And they managed
8
to
minutes.
slowly give up
Like-
objectives while winning farm the
Yeah.
whole game.
Lion. This was a game I took pretty good notes on.
I mean, yeah, plenty of them. It was an hour long.
Yeah.
Shit.
Cloud9 managed to tie up the gold at 24 minutes.
Yeah.
Like, and too much further beyond. Well,
And they still weren't didn't have a control on the game until like 40 minutes.
right.
They tied the game and were still losing it while being slightly ahead in gold for like 20 minutes. Lion they didn't step on the throat when they needed to. They couldn't get done what they needed to.
Yeah, like I mean, Cloud9 didn't even get their first kill until 20 minutes in.
Yeah.
It was like 20 minutes and some change
Yeah.
before Cloud9 got their first kill.
The first good thing that happened for Cloud9 was an uncontested Rift Herald at 17 minutes. And they got their first kill at 21 minutes.
And
Those are
I think this game it speaks a lot to both teams because my worry was was that Lions could come out and beat them early as they had in one other game,
They came
and
close.
they beat them early in that game. The early game was all Lions.
Oh yeah, no doubt about
But
it. I mean,
I
20
think-
minutes until Cloud9 makes their first big move.
Yeah, and I think for Cloud9 going forward though, it's a good thing to see that okay, if that happens to them, they're really good at. It wasn't just a one-game fluke. They did it twice against this team, and the second time was much harder on them. Yeah, they didn't close out in 26 minutes like they did the previous time, but they're able to kind of like hunker down, lose slowly, lose just a little bit, and keep themselves in the game until they have a chance to come back into it. And
See,
that's
the
what
real
they did.
question is were they losing slowly, or did they have lines where they wanted them the whole time? Gave them this false sense of
I don't think
security.
so.
I don't think so either, but
I truthfully think Cloud9 just
like
won the
I think
right...
Riot was like, hold on, Cloud9, you guys did too well last game. Slow it down. We don't want Worlds to be over in 40 minutes.
Right, it's like check the script, fuckers.
Yeah.
What do you think?
That team fight just happened late enough in the game that any team fight win would have been the right team fight.
Yes,
they
oh,
had
absolutely.
been trading team fights and Barons the whole game.
Yeah.
Lions had command of the map the whole game.
And yeah,
And then
Wow.
they just lost when the respawn timers were too long. I
Yeah.
really think that's just what it came down to. Like, oh, okay, the game went on long enough. Cloud9 won the right team fight.
right.
When you start like losing a team member with a minute plus of a
Yeah,
timer,
when your
like-
death timer is 40 seconds or more, it gets
that's
dirty.
that's a long time to not be in a lane.
Yeah.
So, and that's ultimately what it came down to. I mean, that's how Cloud9 was able to pull ahead, even though they didn't have as many kills. Like, I mean, they weren't even up on objectives either. I think they were pretty even, maybe a little behind.
I gotta say, Lion shows a lot of promise, though. Like, I mean, they're not just like, oh, they dominate their region now. They look like a legitimate team, and I fully expect to see them, especially with the franchising going on in NA next season, that the academy teams will be scrimming the crap out of them.
Oh, yeah.
If not, some of the, if there's any struggling teams in NA, like the bottom third, if they're struggling and they're not getting the scrim partners that they want out of the top teams, they're going to look to Lions. They're going to get scrims with them, and that's going to help Lions. And Lions could come back next year at MSI or Worlds and really put up a fight. I think it's cool to see these small regions looking like Lions did.
Well, this is the first time on the big stage, right?
Yeah, they've always missed Worlds before.
So, I mean, it's possible that, like, jitters got to them, like, just not being as experienced as a lot of the other teams.
I mean, their macro wasn't as clean.
Yeah.
Like, their early game, they did control the map, but it was through kill pressure.
And-
Whereas Cloud9 was controlling lanes, and they were getting more farm because their macro was better.
Yep.
But and overall, and then we saw Game 3. Game 3 went nice and quick again. Cloud9 took it to them Game 3. That
Well,
was
I
dirty.
bet Lions was just broken.
Well, yeah. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
that was the most turtled game I've seen so far into Worlds.
Yeah.
Uh,
I mean,
they were able to score an ace right at the end. Like, Lions got 2 kills the whole game.
yeah.
It was bad. Like,
Yeah, I think, and I think my favorite part of that match, though, was seeing Cloud9 come out with the Shen top and then running the Twitch. The first time we've seen Twitch so far in Worlds, the Twitch Janna bot. So they're running the submarine with the Shen, where the Twitch is invisible.
Now,
Shen ults on him, so you can't see the Shen ulting, and it comes out of nowhere and taunts.
Now Galio was banned that game, yes.
I believe
Galio was banned by C9. Yeah.
Now I can't believe I'd only had that moment of clarity. Like I think it was actually next game, but I think. Shen is basically the next best thing after Galio.
Yep. No,
yeah,
Shen,
he's quite similar.
Shen's been seeing a
just
ton of play.
Global pressure, he
Yeah.
can be anywhere.
The big difference is Galio's great at wave clear early. Shen is bad at wave clear until you get a little further in. He needs a couple items. He needs at least Tiamat, if not the full Titanic, to be or Tiamat plus Bami Cinder. He needs something to help his wave clear.
Yep.
His team fight can be much better than Galio's because of the taunt.
Well, he's so much tankier. He's got so much more heft behind him, and he doesn't put out as much damage until his items start to come in.
Right.
So.
Yeah, but late game Galio, you can't fucking kill him anyway.
Yeah.
So. I just think overall, though, my reaction, I feel good about Lion. I think they've got a bright future for them. Hopefully they don't have their players stripped and bought up by a bunch of other teams. I don't think all of them would be
It wouldn't necessarily be a bad thing, though. I mean, Lions were good, and they deserve, all those players deserve to go to teams if that were to happen.
Definitely White Lotus and Seiya. Those players are both very good.
Yep.
So, Adi was... that last game he picked Zac, terrible choice, but
I saw that and I was like, huh.
You don't pick Zac into a Janna. She's a hard counter. They already had the Janna. Every time Zac flies in, she ults, it's over. Okay, your engage is gone. So they really shot themselves in the foot on that.
That's kind of a flashback to Meteos' Zac jungle. They pick Janna into that shit every single time.
Yeah.
That series. Okay, it's just...
Yep.
Reversed.
So, Cloud9, though, how do you guys feel about them heading into groups? Not talking about their actual group they're going in, but how do you feel about them specifically?
I mean, they came in and did what I thought they were going to do. They crushed it.
They are who you thought they were.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't really have anything else to say about Cloud9.
I think they're still vulnerable in the early game, but I like a lot. They've shown they can carry from every lane. We've seen Sneaky carry, we've seen Jensen carry, we've seen Contracts carry, and we've seen Impact carry. Everyone is carried a full-on game except for Smoothie, and Smoothie's their shot caller. And Game 2 they won because he was making the right shot calls.
Yeah.
They were contesting the right Drakes. The fact that they got Elder Drake when they had no business to, because at that point Lion was already losing confidence and they played off it wrong. I think every player there so far is, bringing it right, and the small...
Well, Cloud9 stole the Elder Drake in Game 2.
Exactly.
Lions were working on it, and Cloud9 just came in and they're like, yoink, this is mine now,
and
sorry,
Smoothie
guys.
made the right call to, pressure the way they did.
Yeah,
so
they collapsed at just the right time, the right way.
So, I think everybody on that team is showing pretty well, and Reaper is having them do really good drafts. Can they falter? Absolutely. Do they have weaknesses? Absolutely. But I think coming from playoffs when they dropped out in the quarterfinals to then have to make it into Worlds off the gauntlet, and I think this was a good warm-up for Cloud9. I think they looked good in their gauntlet, or decent in their gauntlet matches against CLG, but they looked good here in play-ins, both in the double round robin and the best of 5. They looked good. I feel confident for them moving into the group stage that they're going to make a showing.
Yep.
So, Zane, thoughts on Cloud9?
I'll laugh when they lose later.
Fuck you. Alright.
All my thoughts on Cloud9.
So Zane hates America. He's pro-Russia. Thank you, Zane.
At least now there's going to be more than one NA team for him to root for. You really going to think I'm going to throw that ball right now? Come on, bro. See, now you're just encouraging him. It's like how I bring you beer. I'm just encouraging you. Alright, so match 2 was Fnatic versus HKA, Hong Kong Attitude. I want to call them Assassins because
Hong Kong Assassins.
Taipei Assassins, man.
Yeah.
TPA. But no, Hong Kong Attitude, Fnatic. And for that, we had said 3-2 from Zane, 3-1 from me, and 3-2 from Chase.
Yep.
And we ended up with that dirty 3-0.
Yep.
And, what was your guys' takeaway from this?
Honestly, it doesn't surprise me. I figured Fnatic would win it. And I almost thought they would go 3-0. But for the sake of, like, trying to encourage HKA, thinking that they were better than what I thought they were. Like, I mean, I like Hong Kong Attitude. They played well. I liked their games. Like, I mean, they deserve to be in this match as much as anyone else. So
Right.
it's just I gave them a little bit more oomph than they should have gotten. But hey, Fnatic still won.
My feeling was, I thought going into it, Fnatic didn't look good, and Hong Kong Attitude didn't look very good. And coming out of it, I thought Fnatic looked okay, and Hong Kong Attitude looked worse.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not impressed by Fnatic. Just because they beat Hong Kong Attitude handedly does not make me feel like they're good.
Yeah.
They look okay to me.
Now, I mean, not in general, but situationally, and okay, I was proud of myself. I thought this was witty. I had the thought in my brain, quote, "Shot caller must be goddamn Bobby Fischer."
Playing some chess.
Exactly. Some of the plays and like the tower dives were just so layered and calculated. Like Fnatic is really good at covering each other's asses and taking what they were out to get.
They played far more organized than they had in the double.
Situationally,
Absolutely.
admittedly, but those situational plays were just like.
And I feel like part of like why they looked better was they were actually aggressive. Finally, they were making tower dives and shit. They like the reason they were losing to teams like Young Generation. Was, I mean, they lost once, but they should have lost twice. They should have lost that group or had a tiebreaker. They're so lucky they didn't.
Yep.
But I feel like because they showed no aggression in the round robin, and here they I think they saw what Hong Kong was, and they're like, oh yeah, we can beat that. So they actually were aggressive rather than being careful.
Well,
But
I
don't
mean,
know.
in that first round, like, it was 9 kills to 3. It was a 30-minute match. It was very slow going. Like you said, it was a chess match that they were playing. They weren't trying to push it. They were waiting for their opponent to choke or to make a misplay.
And boy, did they!
Yeah.
George W. Bush with a bag of pretzels.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, I thought that HKA would have done a little bit better, honestly. I mean,
Same.
Mission got Kassadin.
Oh, we
been
all
banned
did.
in almost every game as well. What else happened there? I mean, they got an Ezreal in the jungle. I thought that was kind of a little bit of a misplay. Like, Ezreal jungle, don't try to make it. Don't make fetch happen. We don't want it to happen.
You're gonna see it happen here. And you're finally gonna see it work and work well. When those Korean teams play, you're gonna be like, oh shit, I get it.
Yeah, no. And But these people that don't know how to play it and play it well should not be playing it.
They're trying so hard, yeah.
They
want to play with the big boys, and
they want it too bad.
And so, I mean,
they're trying to dunk and they're 5'2".
Yeah,
It's like,
I
bro.
mean, honestly, HKA picking Ezreal was a little bit of a misplay on their part.
That was actually a note I took for game 2. Is they punished the shit out of that jungle Ez.
Yeah.
All right, pick up a Gragas. He's like the opposite of an Ezreal. He's
Right.
a man.
He's a man. Hey, no, they're just two sides of the same coin. Ezreal's a
He's a man
twink
that
and
drinks
Greg is a
beer.
bear. Okay? I'm pretty sure people have shipped them, okay? Alright. But yeah, I think, so coming out overall, are you guys, how do you feel about Fnatic heading forward?
I mean, they win 3-0, but HK, they kind of really dropped the ball, so it's really hard to judge where they're going to go next.
They're not the devastating force of nature that I, admittedly, in the past have chalked them up to be. At least not anymore.
No. Those days are kind of behind them.
Rest in peace, force of nature, the league item.
Yeah. That was a good item. But yeah, I'm not sure about them heading forward. Hong Kong Attitude, like you said.
Hong Kong Assassins.
Yeah, right. They are what I thought they were. When we came into groups, I said they're the number 3 seed from a region that only usually gets 2 spots, and their second spot is very strong. Yeah, some people said, no, their third seed, like HKA is actually better than AHQ, they're better than the second seed. I'm like, but AHQ's never really shown up, and their number 1 seed's okay. Like, I was like, I don't know why their number 3 is very good, and honestly, like, them getting a second seed to get 3-0'd, I think was their potential.
Yeah.
I don't see them doing anything better than that in this tournament, so good for them to get there, I guess.
Yep. I mean, I really liked how Mission played. Mission made some good plays. Like, I think he kind of carried the team in a lot of those games. Way more than you should have had to.
Yeah. He tried to put him on his back.
Yeah. He tried and didn't work. Yeah. Sadly. Yeah, I mean, they were just all over the board. They would try to engage 5 versus 4, and they would have somebody kind of try to split push, but when you're losing a 5...
when they had the split push, they weren't playing the pressure right. They're like, oh, let's fight.
Yeah.
It's like, but you have the split push advantage.
Yep.
Yeah,
No, HKA just kind of dropped the ball, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, the one thing that I really did like that I texted you about is in Game 3, HKA was using the Fnatic Jaina skin. And that was really amusing to me. I was like, watching it, I was like, hey!
Oh, yeah. You'll see plenty of people play the SKT skins against SKT.
Yeah.
Yeah, so...
Wait.
Well, we saw Vladimir in Game 3. That was another, like, misplay on HKA's part. It's like, I know Vladimir can be broken, but
I don't think
like
they have the team comp for it.
everyone knows how to like play against it. And you're right, they didn't have the team comp.
I mean,
They had HK had a Sejuani, a Zaya, a Janna, a Cho'Gath, and a Vladimir.
Yeah.
no,
They had...
no.
They had a little bit of burst out of Cho'Gath's ult, and Zaya does good damage, but they... Like... Vlad's good for getting in and initiating a fight, but then you need people to put out a bunch of CC and damage on top of it.
Well,
and
it didn't matter
have
because
that.
they gave Fnatic both Talia, Galio, Gragas, Rakan, Sivir. I mean,
they gave up another "you ban these or you take them" comp, like Cloud9 got in game.
And
one,
if you don't ban them, you take at least some of them. Like you don't just give all of them to the other team like that. Caps on the Talia, like, cut them off multiple times.
To be fair, Caps had been looking super inconsistent, and he showed up on that Talia, though, and he looked fantastic. If that Caps shows up in group stage, they have a chance.
Yeah.
If the Caps who played, Rise and looked like a piece of shit, and, the round robin shows up, I can't expect... That's why I'm so unsure about them. I mean, granted, that game, they did actually, feed pressure and farm into Caps and said, okay, this is what's going to do it, and he did. But I don't know that was a product of, okay, if they do that strategy, that's going to work all the time, or it just happened to be one of those games where Caps actually fucking shows up.
Yeah.
Because I hear the commentators and the casters, and, I love Froskirin. I think she's a fantastic commentator. And she's like, this is what happens when they feed Caps. I'm like, I've seen them try to feed Caps and lose ridiculously bad.
Give me a beer. I swallowed a chip without chewing it.
Why would you do that?
Seems like
It wasn't on purpose.
Hey, you were breaking the order of the beers.
I'm sorry. I was desperate.
So
every girl I've been with.
That's why she married you. Alright, so yeah, I think that's it for that one. We'll go on to the second day, first match. Started with Fenerbahce and Team 1.
This one was a little painful.
And we had 3-2, 2-3, 3-1.
Yep.
Chase with the second victory on that 3-1. I thought they were going to go 5 games.
Honestly, I did too. After I was watching them,
After the first 3 games, I'm like, oh, this is going 5. Absolutely going 5.
I really liked what one of the commentators said about Excalibur pattern versus wooden stick pattern.
What was the full quote? Or do you,
basically, it's in... it was something to the effect of how in team fights, Padden becomes Excalibur.
But in lane...
Versus in other situations or minor altercations, he's more of a wooden stick.
Yeah. No, that's it. I mean, Padden, he shows up once they hit the mid game. Yeah. If he could show up in the lane, he doesn't even have to get kills, but just not die and win farm. And I think they could make mid game happen at 8 minutes, 10 minutes, and all of a sudden they'd be stopping.
Well, okay, so I mean, I know that. Fenerbahce didn't do great Like, I mean, they're here. They're slow and steadily getting through here.
Get used to it.
Yeah, basically. But I mean, they had a good team comp in the first game. Team 1 gave them the Callista and the Talia. I mean, it's the first time I've seen Morgana be played as support. I mean, be played at all in the Worlds game so far.
Was that the first one? Wow.
I don't think so.
No?
She's been rare. If she's only been seen like 3 matches.
Yeah, I only know that because I remember another game they were commenting on how the Morganas don't even scale W until they have to.
Yeah, you don't take W anymore because the damage on's not worthwhile, so you just want the length of binding on the Q and the shield. So yeah, they
exactly.
do that all
right, so maybe not the first Morgana, but
it's one of the few.
They are rare.
One of the few, you're right.
But, I mean, they had a pretty good comp. I mean, Team 1, they had the Lulu, which is a good polymorph. They got Shen as their tank.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't a bad match. I mean, Fenerbahce did come through in that particular game, 16-5.
Maokai Talia combo.
Yeah.
Whoa, the zone control.
With the wall and the root. Yeah, because you throw the wall behind them and then the roots come in and they're like, well, guess we're boned.
With those
at that point, you try to single file so that the tank gets hit, your Gragas or your Sejuani gets hit with the root, and then everybody else can run through them and, actually fight. But
so, I mean, you said after the first 3 matches, I thought it was going to go best of 5.
I thought game 4, I'm like, oh, this is going back the other way.
But Fenerbahce in this game, they did really well.
They did.
They didn't, make it look sloppy. They played well. It was, what was it, game 2?
Yeah.
Game 3? That they kind of started to shit themselves a little bit.
Yeah, I think 1 just looked better in the game they took. And they looked close in the games. They didn't look bad.
Team 1 shit all over Fenerbahce in game 2.
Yeah. And so, and that's why because that was kind of I saw exactly what I had said. I'm like, Team 1's aggressive early. Fenerbahce is more of a slow roll team, especially with Padden. Padden's not great in the lane. He's not great early. And that's exactly what Team 1 did that game. They got out to an early start, and they just held it. They just went. Which
is a little surprising, honestly. I mean, in that game, too, Fenerbahce had the Xayah, the Rakan, they had Corki and Cho'Gath. They had a dream team going on.
That's all mid-game scaling.
Yeah.
That was the problem. Because who was Team 1 fit?
They had Lulu, Galio, Varus, Maokai, and Rek'Sai.
No, I'm glad you have this.
They went aggressive Rek'Sai early and got her ahead, and then that's how they went.
I was going to say, when they drafted this, and I'm glad the commentators backed me up. I was like, they didn't draft any damage.
No.
And then the rest of my notes for the game are, oh, fuck me, I was wrong, I guess.
Yeah, no. The damage they had was Rek'Sai, and they went damage on Rek'Sai.
Yeah.
So they got her out to a lead, which allowed Varus and they allows Varus to get out, and Varus can do early game damage if you get him some armor pen, lethality and stuff. And so that's what they did. And then we've got the damage, and they just went from there. And they just used the Lulu, Galio, Maokai to lock everyone down constantly and to protect the Varus, and and then Rek'Sai would also get in some damage, and just Varus went to town.
Well, yeah, I mean, Team 1, they scored a huge ace early on. They shut them down. This was painful to watch being a Fenerbahce fan. I mean, I'm not really a Fenerbahce fan, but that's who I'm rooting for.
I was absolutely pulling for
I was rooting for him coming into group stage, so I'm glad to see they made it through.
Yeah.
Or into play-in, I should say.
Yep, no, game 2 was kind of a train wreck.
Team 1 just had such conviction. Game 2, it was pretty obvious, they knew exactly, there was never a dull moment. There was never, how do I say this? They always had their head in the game. They were always doing something. And if it was worth it, they would die doing it.
Thank you, sir.
But they would always get it done.
Yeah.
Well, I felt a little bit bad in Game 3 and 4 when they subbed out Bruiser for Marth.
Yeah.
To be fair, Marth didn't do poorly.
I don't know that he was the issue.
Yeah. Bruiser wasn't the issue. I think it was just a team issue.
Right. Yeah, I think I'm happy for Team 1 that they got a win. They looked good in the series. They didn't win, but they looked better than all the other teams who lost. And they can go back to Brazil not being derided for being
we didn't get bumped out in the first round, sucker bitches.
Yeah, well, and they weren't the ones who were supposed to go. Red Cannons were the ones who were supposed to go. And they're like, no, we just showed up, we got here, we took a number 2 slot in the against what people saw as the best team in the play-ins. Cloud9 looked the best overall, probably.
Yeah.
And then, we took 2. We almost took a game off them. And then we did go up against, the weakest number 1 seed. But we took a game off them, and we didn't look terrible in the matches. They didn't get, blown out.
No.
So, and they're a new team. They're all so fucking young. Those guys can stick together and be a dominant team in Brazil. They'll be a top 2 team probably next year if they can keep that squad together and fix some small problems.
Yeah, I mean, Game 3, Team 1, they came out really strong like they usually do. They come out, they play the early game really quick and really well.
Yeah.
And then they just fell behind.
Yeah.
I was wondering if Game 2's early game just went pretty damn well for Team 1. I was wondering if just subbing in for someone that was more proficient with LeBlanc, an early game bully, was just kind of them trying to exploit an open wound or
Go
something
all
like
in
that.
on that strategy. Yeah.
And then they kind of shit the bed.
Yeah, I think they might have been trying too hard if that's what they were doing.
Well, this Game 3 was funny because Haddon almost got the Penta again.
Yeah.
He got the Quadra and he got it taken away from
Got
him. Was
denied by the Janet E in Fountain, or his W, whatever, the bird.
Yeah.
Obviously the idea was they all just go in there and, use their shields and, tank the turret for him. So it had to be fully intentional, and he's like, no. He probably threw it out as a joke, not thinking he'd get it, and he got it. And I'm sure he was just like, suck it.
I mean, at that point, they had already won, so Fenerbahce didn't really matter.
No.
It was amusing. I was like, ooh, denied the Penta by your teammate.
Right? Yeah, I mean, so I guess I walked away feeling decent about Fenerbahce.
I was expecting Japone to be sat out the next game.
That would have been great.
Had made an executive decision.
Bench!
They just played,
Now!
They didn't even sub. They just play without a
They
support.
brought Mercer in to support.
Yeah. But yeah, I feel good about Fenerbahce. I think they've made a good showing. I don't think they're good enough to really
Despite
make a good
having
showing going forward.
A sub that's
Yeah,
never played
a
with them, doesn't
last-minute
speak their
sub.
language.
Yeah.
They're doing better than I would have imagined.
I would have really still liked to seen this team with their actual jungler.
Yeah.
With somebody who can communicate directly with the team in English.
Yo.
But
I mean, that makes...
it's unfortunate.
Who does that turn into? Is it Thaldrin? Or no. Frozen.
Crash.
No. Frozen being the translator.
Frozen's the mid laner who's translating for Crash.
Got it.
So-
Okay.
Because Frozen speaks English and Korean because he's been on the team, and the jungler they lost, Move, also spoke Korean and English, and Crash only speaks Korean. So Move, who's also their best player, or not Move, Frozen, who's the best player on that team, basically, is now
he's getting-
having to also be a.
He's
throughput.
getting stuck, having to be the shot caller.
Yeah, I think that definitely has hurt them some. Not as much as I would have expected, but you know what? I'm hoping to see this team return at MSI in Worlds next year.
I mean,
and we get to
honestly,
see that.
Fenerbahce didn't look too bad.
No.
They didn't look. They only looked bad in the game that they lost.
Yeah.
And, I mean, my notes here, Fenerbahce played slowly and strategically. They gave up very few kills in the first half of the game, and Team 1 was able to coherently take objectives. And it just took a toll. They couldn't do anything.
Yeah. So, I mean, good for Fenerbahce. I don't expect them to do much going forward, because I think this is about their cap right now with their squad as it is.
Yep.
Team 1...
Because they get into the big boy league, and, and then they have to worry about, how quickly can we get things translated in.
But, I mean, and Team 1, for being as new as they are and as young as they are, good on them. I hope to see them in the future,
They
too.
brought the fuego.
I mean, it's funny, because most of these teams that we don't know, I'm like, okay, I'll be glad to see them in the future, except,
For
HKA, I'm like, I don't give a crap.
English-speaking people, fuego means hot. Or for a
Fire.
For a non-Spanish? Fuck. For a non... I don't know. I'm done. It means fire, bitches. Fire.
It is Spanish, though, yes. Alright, so then we head into Series 4, which was WEN Young Generation. We had a 2-3, 3-1, and 3-2. Nobody got that right. It was a 3-0.
And this one was actually
The only person who
most
got any of ours
surprising.
right, by the way, were Chase. Or it was Chase. Chase got 2 of them right.
Whoop whoop.
You and I, let's see.
I was rooting for the fuego.
Let's say Chase picked chalk for the wins, so he got all 4 wins correct. You and I each picked an upset, so we got one of the wins wrong.
Honestly, I mean, this was a little bit unexpected. I mean, WE, they didn't play poorly in any of their matches before, but
Right.
Young Generation played so well in those
Fnatic
matches,
just played so bad.
and that could be it too.
I'm
But
still not hot on
I
Fnatic.
didn't expect that Young Generation was going to give it to him a 3-0. Like, with as well as...
I thought they might have pulled one, and they were close. They had some close matches, but the minute you got to the mid game, WE just pulled it away. Which
Yep.
I don't know that they can. Well, then again, we'll get to it to what group they're in, but against the better teams at Worlds, you can't do that. So, I mean, hopefully they're not just like sandbagging, or I mean, I guess for them, hopefully they are sandbagging, and they're just like, oh, we don't have to try. But if they play their first 15 minutes like they have against good teams, they are not going to win.
No.
Especially in like best of threes, or best of fives, I mean. Like, they will get crapped on.
Yep.
So, WE looked better, though. They did. They looked better. I was sad for Young Generation not put up better showing than they did, because they did look good.
I picked my 3-2 because I really wanted Young Generation to have at least a minor upset.
Oh, and that's where he picked the straight upset, the 2-3.
Yeah.
Like,
They looked good against good teams.
Yeah.
They lost, but they looked good.
yeah, and I think even after this, like, they still looked like they're a team who has promise. Absolutely. I just think we did see the gap. Like, they're the number 2 team in a weak region, and people said going into this, there's a huge gap between them and Gigabyte Marines, and I don't know that the gap's quite as big as it was. I feel like they've improved, and hopefully that helps their region going home. That them and Gigabyte Marines, like, with 2 good teams, it'll help improve the region. Because if it's just one dominant team, it doesn't really help anybody to just get stomped on all day, you know?
Yep.
So-
I mean, let's see. Game 1. Game 1 was pretty decisive, honestly. It was 9-1. WE just kind of shut down Young Generation. It was a little painful to watch,
Yeah.
considering that I like Young Generation.
Yeah.
I mean, but WE was able to get a Kog'Maw.
And they got him going early.
And this is one of the few Tarics I've seen.
Yes. Tarek is kind of that third round, or that third set of picks if, like, certain stuff's banned, and you're like, well, and WE's been the ones who have been mostly playing him. They've been playing that Ardent Sensor Tarek and owning the Baron Pit.
Yep.
So if we see that here in the group stages, really expect teams who are playing against it to be set up with vision around Baron Pit, or to be ready to, like, all in a fight in Baron Pit and be like, okay, you guys want to do that? We're going to fight you there.
Yep. No, first game was 25 minutes, and it definitely did not go Young Generation's way. I mean, I don't know that there was really anything they could have done. They looked outclassed, honestly.
They were. Yeah.
Like, they didn't look like that was a match they should have ever played. I mean, I think it gets better if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I mean, it was never close games, but Young Generation never looked like there was somebody who did not belong.
Well, game 2, Young Generation, they were able to... It was an even 13-13.
Right, yeah.
So, I mean, that they looked better
I think
this
WE
game.
was just in control the whole time.
Yeah.
More so. Like, as much as Young Generation was in the game, absolutely. Like, they never looked like, you know, say, Lion did against Cloud9. They never looked
Young
like they were
Generation,
getting blown
they
out.
started Baron twice. They got Baron almost down to being theirs. And at the last second, like, the smite came out the first time, and it was a last second smite, and WE was able to steal it from Young Generation. Like,
That's
was like...
experience right there.
Yeah, that was like, ooh, that's a little gut-wrenching. Like, I mean, that sucked.
I mean, think about how many Barons we saw stolen in this play-in. I mean, it's inexperienced teams.
Yep.
They haven't been playing at that level because, I mean, yeah, Baron steals happen in, you know, LCK and LPL and NALCS.
But to have two
but not
consecutive
that
Barons...
often.
To have 2 consecutive Barons stolen at the last second after you've done all the work and you...
Exactly.
It's like you go all the way there and you fall down at the finish line.
You need the right vision. I mean, go back, and you'll see it, I'm sure, here in games going forward, too. But, like, if you watch late season NALCS games, you have the vision behind the pit, or in front of it. And, like, say that guy, that jungler, he's roaming around the back, and he's waiting for the time to come and smite, and you go at him with CC and damage just before smite time. You go, okay, and, like, 3 people jump over the wall, you kill the jungler, and then you come back in and finish the Baron.
I mean... And
Like,
WE was
they
down.
don't do that, 'cause
like,
they
WE
don't
was
have
down in
experience.
kills, like they were down in objectives almost the whole game. Like, Young Generation looked good this game.
Yeah.
They just made poor plays, double Baron steals. Like, I mean, at the point
you
where...
can't throw 2 Barons and expect to win a game.
Yeah.
You just can't.
I mean...
Which is all the stranger
Well,
because...
WE was down, like, even before that, like, Young Generation had 13 kills to WE's 10, and it came down to a triple kill in the base, and it secured them the Nexus. And it was a tied game. They were down up until, like, right before the Nexus. I mean, obviously, kills don't necessarily mean everything, but I should probably start keeping track of gold counts now, too.
Gold lead is a better statistic.
One more statistic I need to take note of.
Which, I mean...
Just look at the graphs after the game. Just do a screen grab and throw it in your notes.
Yeah, that's what I should do.
I will say that's one thing that didn't make YG look too good is... stealing any jungle objective away from a Cho'Gath?
It shouldn't happen.
That's the...
No, literally shouldn't hit at late game. And if he's got some health items, which he did, his feast does more damage than the smite.
Wait. Cho'Gath was top lane. Lee Sin was our jungle that match.
The better.
Right.
You have
but we're saying that the enemy team was stealing it away from a Cho'Gath. His feast is true damage, and at most paces, like in the mid to late game, his feast does more damage than the smite.
That's assuming that he had feast up when that encounter happened.
He should if they're taking Baron.
You better.
So, I mean, that's the thing. Like, either they're misplaying by not having feast, or they're misplaying by not using it to secure the Baron with... You should be counting it down. It should be like, okay, we're getting close, and then the, jungler, whoever calls it, they go... now, and Smite Feast come out at the same time, you do 2k damage, nobody can take that from you.
Yep.
And especially if you have a Lee Sin on your team, because you hit the Baron with the Q, the follow-up Q, the secondary, is an execute. So you get extra damage on that, because Lee Sin's hard to steal from for that reason. So you have the second Lee Sin Q, the Smite, and the Cho'Gath Feast. You should not be losing that to a Smite steal. Absolutely not.
Maybe if they had a Nunu support.
Nunu's another, Nunu, Cho'Gath, like, you can't steal it from that at least. The one person you absolutely cannot steal it from is Kalista. If she gets enough Ren stacks on that thing, she can fucking Ren for like 2k. It's dumb. But yeah, I think at the end of the day, though, WE looked better than they did previously. Young Generation made a good showing. I think their region.
Well, game
should
3, Young Generation started off well.
Yeah.
It's just WE just made a huge swing play.
Yeah. Game 1's the only one where they did not really show up in the match. And they didn't look terrible. You could just tell they were not as good.
Yeah.
The other matches, they had a chance, and they just couldn't capitalize on it.
Yep. Yeah, it was a bummer being a Young Generation.
It wasn't quite as bad as being a Lion fan.
Don't I know it?
So, once all said and done, we had the winners being Cloud9, Fnatic, Fenerbahce, and WE.
And I think that's what everyone expected, right?
Yeah, I mean, they were the 1 seeds,
yeah.
So it makes sense. I mean, technically, the upset was that Fenerbahce beat out HKA to get the 1 seed, which actually we all had. When we looked at what we all probably expected, if we would just straight up said, who's making it out of this, I think we all would have said WE, Cloud9, Fnatic, Fenerbahce. Because we all felt like Fenerbahce, for whatever reason, had it coming in. So, what we ended up with our group draw, though, we have, in Group A, EDG, the number 1 seed from China, SKT, the number 2 seed from Korea, and 3-time world champion, AHQ, the 2nd seed from Southeast Asia, and Cloud9 coming in as the 3rd seed from North America. So we'll hit up this group. Yeah, we should all do our pick'ems and do that too. But so let's hit up this group quick. You got EDG, SKT, AHQ, and Cloud9. I mean, I think it was a scary group to get drafted into just because of SKT EDG.
Yep.
HQ, I don't see HQ. No matter what happens, they're not getting better than 3rd.
Yeah.
HQ's there to play spoiler. They're there to take games off teams they shouldn't be taking games off of, is how I feel about it. And then EDG, I've seen them come into Worlds with high expectations before and utterly fail. I've also seen them show up and win a group.
Yeah, but then being with
know.
SKT.
SKT, yeah, SKT is ridiculous. SKT's gonna win the group, is my thought. I mean, it's SKT.
I mean,
If you're a Korean, you win the group.
I've got my number 1 picks for 2 of them that I'm pretty certain are good. My groups B and C, I'm like, I don't fucking know.
Yeah. I mean,
I don't know.
Group A, what do you got in Group A? Come on, that's where we're at.
Group A, I've got SKT first place, EDG 2, Cloud9 3, and AHQ 4.
I think that's one of the 2 options, really. I think the other likely option, and the one
Cloud9
I'm going to hope for,
EDG,
I'm going to swap Cloud9 and EDG.
Yeah, that's kind of been where I've been, like, toying with. It's just like, I think that Cloud9 is better than number 3.
So, here's the fun stat that I heard. I'm not sure I'm remembering it right, but I believe in all the world's groups that have had both a Korean and a Chinese team, only one time has a team made it out that wasn't those 2. And it was Cloud9. Cloud9 made it out of a Korean-Chinese group once. I don't know that this is their time to do it. But if you're going to draw into a Korean-Chinese team, I think EDG as your number 1's the way to do it. Would I rather have Samsung Galaxy as my Korean team? Yes. I'd rather have them than SKT. But if you're going to tell me I have to go up against like Longzhu and Royal Never Give Up, I'd rather have EDG and SKT, I think. I don't know. It's going to suck because I'm a Cloud9 fan. I'm going to put my eggs in the Cloud9 basket. I'm going to say Cloud9's coming out second. I've got to root for my boys. And I really do. It's just going to come down to how do them and EDG do, and whoever loses a match to AHQ shot themselves in the foot.
Yep.
Because that could easily go 1-1, and even if it goes 2-0, if you lose that match to AHQ, you throw shit in jeopardy. Or if somebody manages to pull one match off of SKT, throws everything up in the air. I think SKT's going to win no matter what, don't get me wrong. They're coming out first. But I don't know. I'm going to go with my boys in Cloud9.
Well, that was my first thought, and then I was like, no.
We'll come back to you. We'll hit Zane up. What do you think, Zane?
Well, I already told you mine. I went first, remember?
Well, yeah, but
I made a change. I mean...
Well, we need what your final's going to be on the Pick'em Online.
Well, I think that's it, right there.
So you switched to match me.
Well, that was my original, ordering, and then I was like...
It's not the original one I saw. You decide. You got.
No. I'm keeping it there.
You can change your mind up until the end of this cast.
No. I'm locking it in. That's where I'm at.
Locking it in. All right.
Yeah. SKT, Cloud9, EDG, AHQ.
All right.
I will steal yours.
So you and I are both Sony Computer Entertainment of America. Gotcha.
Yep.
SEA. So I see those letters and immediately I think Sony Computer Entertainment of America.
This is something I'm uneducated about.
No, it's just a craft logger. You're educated about craft loggers. The nail knot. Nice.
So, honestly, I only know SKT just because they are the superstars.
Right. SKT is the team to beat. They're the Tiger Woods of League of Legends.
And I know Cloud9 because they're NA and they're one of my favorite teams.
Yeah, when it comes down to it, SKT, they're the Tiger Woods. Because you are literally, you can go into Worlds saying, who's going to win, SKT or the field? And it's a legitimate question. They've won 3 of the last 4 Worlds.
Right. No, yeah, that's the one thing I know.
And they have Faker, of course.
Here's all I
bet
really...
I could solo Faker 1v1.
Honestly, what I said about HQ is legitimate. They're the number 2 seed in their region. They've been to Worlds. I think this is their 3rd year in a row, and they never show up. They pull a match off of somebody, and that's about it. They're not expected to do anything more, and I wouldn't expect them to do anything more this year. EDG, they're a good team. They're at Worlds a lot. And sometimes they're good at making it out of group, and sometimes they can... I've told you, one Chinese team a year seems to come in with a lot of hype and completely shit the bed. They've been that team once. LGD has been that team once, who's not here anymore. They're not around. I don't know.
I guess my mind is kind of made up. I mean, SKT being first is the bottom line.
Oh, of course.
Yeah. I have seen the Faker Zed, and
Whatever, Jensen's gonna clap him.
Oh, yeah.
He said that jokingly last year, and oh man, it did not happen. It was pretty fantastic how much it did not happen.
Faker plays a Zed that we mortals cannot really.
But Zed's not
fathom.
meta, so he won't get played most likely.
Most
But
likely.
but Faker can also play any champion at a level as good as basically anyone else. Like, unless it's your one trick, like your best mid lane champion as a pro mid laner might be better than Faker's version of it if it's like his 12th best champion.
My one trick is only silver 4, so
hey, you're not bronze and you just started playing, so well done.
all right. So does that bring us to Group B? Can we...
No, he hasn't finished. He's got
Oh,
SKT.
God damn it, Zane.
Here's all I have.
Fuck, you flip flopped.
Here's what I have. SK Telecom gets first. Cloud9 does not get last.
I need a
That's-
1, 2, 3, 4.
SK, EDG, Cloud9, HQ.
Okay.
So he went with my original, but I flippy floppied.
Got them flipping floppies. Alright, so we're heading to Group B here. Longzhu, the number 1 seed coming out of Korea. You got Immortals, the number 2 seed out of NA. Gigabyte Marines, the number 1 seed. The GPL, they're from Vietnam. That's the same region as Young Generation is.
So
and
I only
fin-
know
finally-
Immortals and
Oh,
Fnatic.
I hadn't even said that one yet. God, you're
Fnatic! Boom, bitch!
And
Stole it!
the one who got drawn into it was Fnatic, the number 3 seed coming out of Europe.
Fnatic, guys, just in case you didn't know. Fnatic.
So I'll let you. Do you want me to start because I know more about the teams? or-
I want you to start because I
right,
drafted
so-
B and C like not knowing anything.
So Longzhu, number 1 seed coming out of Korea. They don't play quite the standard meta. They like to
So
carry.
that
from,
means they go to number 1.
they like to carry out of the top a lot.
They're
They-
from Korea and number 1 seed.
They-
Automatic number 1.
They beat
Thank you.
SKT T1 in the final. That's how
Okay.
they got their number 1 seed. Immortals looking pretty good coming out of NA.
I've seen Immortals play, so I know that.
Yeah, they looked solid in the final against
Like,
TSM.
I don't know that I've ever seen Gigabyte Marines play, so
Nope.
like then
the
I'm
only
like,
time you would have ever seen them was at MSI. That's the first anybody knew of them really, like
wasn't
outside of their
playing
region.
during MSI.
Exactly. And they took it to TSM pretty hard, actually. Like, TSM won, but it was fucking close. But yeah, so they look good. They are hyper aggressive early. They're hyper aggressive throughout the game, but they start right
like
away.
'em.
Yes, they are lions turned up to 11.
Nice!
Yeah, no, so like Gigabyte Marines will come out at you, they will dive you, they will be insane. You're like, okay, where are they going to go next? You don't know because they're just going places.
They're the Marines!
Yeah, I mean, they are the Viet Cong on the Rift, man. They're everywhere. So you've got, I mean, this is the great discussion of this group, is Longzhu plays a nice slow game, carry through the top. Immortals plays a game that's kind of centered around shot calling from Xmithy from the jungle. And they're solid in lane, but like they don't like have any specific lane they super hard through. Gigabyte Marines, chaos and aggression. And then you have Fnatic, who plays a weird thing where they like to get into side lanes and let Reckless farm up. Although they've shown, I mean, in the past, Caps can carry, but will he carry? So you have 4 completely different teams here. You've got a top carry, a bot carry, a chaos, and a slow and steady. Like, this group is...
Whoa.
This group's going to be fun
Attacked.
to watch. I think every game's going to be fun to watch to see how the matchups play out. If you want to talk raw skill, it's going to be Longzhu at the top. Then you have Immortals and Fnatic in the middle, and Gigabyte below them. Gigabyte has some players who showed up really well with great skill at MSI, but
Do
they
you
are
honestly
more based
you think
around...
that Gigabyte's gonna do worse than Fnatic?
If you're talking raw skill,
Okay.
yes. But
Is that where you think that they're gonna like line up though? Is that what your pick
I
is?
don't know.
See, well, okay. So obviously you know way more about this than I
Yeah,
do,
I know.
and I made my picks before knowing anything.
Right, you had Longzhu at 3 there, I saw, right? I think you had Longzhu
Yep.
at 3 just a moment ago, and then you moved them up.
Yeah, because I did not know they were A, Korean, and
Yes.
B, number 1 seed.
Yeah, Koreans almost exclusively take first out of their group.
Yeah, because they're Koreans. They're good at everything. StarCraft,
Yeah,
fucking
what
League of
you want to
Legends.
hope
They're
for...
damn good at StarCraft.
You want to take first in your group, because that means all the Koreans that took first you won't face
Yep.
in the first round. That's how that works. That's how you win worlds. RNG did it once. No, I mean, I think saying Longzhu's going to take first makes total sense. I think, personally, you could argue for Fnatic or Immortals making it out. I personally also think you can argue for Fnatic or Gigabyte Marines taking last. I feel like Fnatic is the huge swing wild card in this. Because they've played well, they've played terribly. We've seen them do both already. And they were only playing against emerging region teams. So, I mean, because what, they played... Young Generation looked good against them, but WE made them look... It's still good, but not nearly that good. And then, for their slot, they played against Hong Kong Attitude, who looked bad against Fenerbahce. Like, so... I don't know that Fnatic's faced anybody who's worth a damn yet.
Yeah.
And now they have to play against Longzhu and Immortals, who are both good teams. I mean, Longzhu's a great team, Immortals is a good team. And Gigabyte Marines, who, on any given day, can just fucking come at your face and... I mean, it's like being attacked by a small dog. Yeah, you should be able to beat up a small dog. But if it's biting your face and going crazy, you might just panic and lose. You finally beat it, but you're like, oh my god, I'm missing an eye and I'm bleeding. But in a double round robin, coming out bleeding and shit is, oh, we went 1-1 against them, and they also managed to get a game off somebody else. We lose.
Okay. So
yeah, they're Insane Chihuahua. That's who they are.
Insane Chihuahua.
So officially for my picks within this group, I'm going to go this route. Longzhu, Immortals, Gigabyte, Fnatic. But in terms of wanting to get more picks right, should I change this?
I don't know. I'm considering... I honestly, like I said, I think there's 3 legitimate versions
I've never seen Gigabyte Marines play, and I do not know if they're legitimately better than Fnatic. You said raw skill, maybe. But
raw skill, they're definitely not better than Fnatic.
Not better.
No, it's their play style that would beat Fnatic. Because Fnatic doesn't seem to handle things well right now.
Okay.
I mean, if you're talking just good players, dude, they have Reckless. They have Soaz.
Yeah.
They're good players. But, I mean, Gigabyte, they're chaos. They're chaos on the Rift. And you can't underestimate that when it comes to... Like Lions. They're like Lions, but crazier.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
I love that.
The 3 legitimate versions I could see this group coming out as is Longzhu, Immortals, Gigabyte, Fnatic, Longzhu, Fnatic, Immortals, Gigabyte, or Longzhu, Immortals, Fnatic, Gigabyte.
Those are most of our options.
Well,
yes.
Longzhu's locked in. Immortals, I only see them going 1 or 2. I cannot see them going 4. And I don't see Gigabyte making it out of the group. That's basically the rules I'm going by.
Huh.
So, that eliminates 2 other permutations.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm going to put Longzhu, Immortals. I was considering Gigabyte above Fnatic, but I think Fnatic's just going to manage to hold on to games long enough to make it, to get at least a 1-1 against Gigabyte, if not the 2-0.
Sure.
So I'm going to go Fnatic, Gigabyte.
I'm going to go Longzhu, Fnatic, Immortals, Gigabyte. With the addendum that I hope Gigabyte gets an upset.
So what you're saying is I should switch those.
Nope.
No. Here, not there.
Honestly, like I said, I've considered going that way.
But
so on the fence on that. I am far more on the fence of that than I am about EDG Cloud9.
But you get a special icon if you pick these
If
right.
you get so many points.
Yeah. I don't know how the points work.
We'll read it.
LFIG.
Oh, you said Fnatic Immortals?
Yes.
Woo!
You guys want to see my puppy do a trick? Catch
Do
the ball,
it.
buddy. Good catch, buddy.
Alright.
It was too complicated.
So-
I didn't like it.
Let's head into Group C. Group C, I think, is the group everybody was afraid of to start with. I think Cloud9's very glad they didn't get drawn into this. Because they could only get...
in this group.
Cloud9 could have only gotten drawn into Group A or C. Group C, we have G2, who's the #1 seed out of Europe.
Okay, I picked that one, right?
RNG, who is the... was that the order? No, the order was Samsung Galaxy's the #2 seed coming out of China. Samsung Galaxy's the #3 seed, coming out of Korea. RNG, the #2 seed out of China. And then Fenerbahce coming out of that.
I picked those on random, and I feel pretty comfortable with that pick.
Yeah, I think, the upset you have there is you have a Korean not getting out of the group.
It is a Korean.
But, I mean, that's not an illegitimate pick here, because we're looking at the toughest group at Worlds. I think you can argue this group or Group A, and that's it. Because there's only 3 real contenders in 2 groups.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at it, like Group A, you got EDG, SKT, Cloud9. All 3 are contenders to make it out of the group. I think AHQ is a throwaway. Group B, Fnatic and Gigabytes.
Did you say G2 was number 1 seed out of Europe?
Yes.
I honestly don't know that I've seen them play. I mean, I might have, but just not processed.
They've been fairly dominant in Europe for a while. Like, they're not
honestly.
I
don't watch the EU scene
Right.
a ton. Like, I know Unicorns of Love just because they're so Unicorns of Lovey, and I know Fnatic because they're one of the more prominent teams that I'm familiar with.
So G2 at International, they did well at this MSI. Previously, they had been a total meme for how much they have failed. Well, like MSI last year, they took a vacation week before MSI and they got completely trounced, and so them going on vacation was a giant meme. And how bad Perks was. Perks was terrible. He's their mid laner. It was like, my Azir is bad, my LeBlanc is worse. You guessed right, I'm G2 Perks. But yeah, so you have, like I said, in Group 1, 3 teams who can compete. In Group B, I really do think it's probably Longzhu Immortals. Fnatic could make a run for it. I don't think anybody sees Gigabyte actually making it out. They're definitely a throwaway, but Fnatic's probably a throwaway in that too. Yeah. So you have like 2.5 teams competing. We'll get to Group B, Group D. Group D's like 2.5 at most to get in. But Group C, G2 can compete to get out of group. Samsung Galaxy competes to get out of group. Royal Never Give Up can compete to get out of group. Poor Fenerbahce, like, good for them they made it this far. They're going 0-6.
Yep.
They're absolutely going 0-6 unless somebody shits the bed against them. Or they get to that point, they're like, oh, I'm locked into 1 or 2. Like, they're locked into that spot, and they're like, I'm done. And so, like, they play kind of goof off and let Fenerbahce take a match. But, I don't know, this one's rougher.
So, again, I put TSM number 1 just because...
This is Group C.
Okay, I'm sorry, I'm skipping a group ahead.
Yeah, you are. So
I need another beer. Why are you guys drinking beer so slow?
Wait, you were the last one into that one. It's not our fault you tipped it back. Too. Good God.
Oh, you're done too?
Yeah. I haven't explained the groups because you guys don't know who anyone is.
My good sir.
Dripping everywhere.
Prost!
I wouldn't open that right now.
Yeah, I won't.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah, so who are your pickings for Group C? We will start with Zane.
Oh, will we?
I already told you my picks.
No, you didn't. You asked me to explain the group. So I saw your picks. I
didn't change them.
Yeah,
I kept them exactly the same.
I commented on you having Samsung not getting out of the group, Korean not getting out of the group, and then I described who the teams were.
Yeah, life.
So who are you picking?
I'm going to go...
Yeah, Europe, Korea, China, Turkey.
I'm going to go...
Fenerbahce for the upset, number 1.
Ballsy.
No.
Ballsy call? If you got that right, I would buy you a steak. Just straight up.
But it's going to be a cheap one.
This isn't a Ruth's Chris steak. God damn it. I'm going to go Korea for...
ground beef.
Samsung Galaxy.
Pseudo upset, I guess.
A pseudo. Because they're not the number 1 seed.
Because they're not a 1 seed.
They are the number 3 from Korea. So Samsung as number 1.
I'm going to say Samsung, G2... What's RNG's elevator pitch again?
Royal Never Give Up is the number 2 seed coming out of China.
Got RNG's on their side.
They are the one team that has won Worlds in the last 4 years that wasn't SKT. They've also been completely reformed. Their sales pitch, though, is their AD carry, Uzi, can carry.
I know the name Uzi.
Yeah, little puppy.
Yep. We'll go RNG and then a hats off to Fenerbahce.
Yeah, no, I mean, well done to Fenerbahce. Oh, God, I put you under Chase. God damn it. So, we're going to... Yeah, we're just going to do scribbles all through this line because I started putting them under me. So, SGRF. I'm putting Fenerbahce as my last. I'll let you go last this time. Oh, gosh. See, I'm having a hard time I want to maybe knock a Korean out. I don't think it's going to happen. And then I'm
Whoa,
also
whoa,
trying.
whoa. Do you only want to knock him out
Pow!
Korean? That's racist, Curtis.
Damn, elbows. But I also, I don't know.
The chip bag.
I want to put faith in G2. I really do, especially in this group. If they have a group they're going to win, it's going to be this one because they have the number 2 and 3 seeds from China and Korea respectively. Like, what other group are they going to number 1? Because, I mean, what, you go against any other group, like, you could end up with the number 1 from NA TSM, which I see TSM as being a better team than them. I put them between, like, TSM and Immortals, which makes it hard to say, oh yeah, they're going to be a Chinese and a Korean. But you know what? Fuck it, I'm going to go full faith. Say, Europe, you're going to do something right, because Fnatic's a steaming pile of shit, and I want you to make other groups. I'm going to give something to G2. So I'm going to go G2, Samsung, Royal Never Give Up, Fenerbahce. And what do we got from Chase?
This is obviously with me knowing very little about most of these teams.
It's totally fine.
That's what I did.
I picked G2, RNG, Samsung, Fenerbahce.
All right.
After hearing third seed Korean, I'm a little bit
If that happens, though, God tier pick. And also, great for anyone who's trying to win Worlds who's not Korean. Because that means 2 of the matches won't have Koreans in them. That means 2 people get into the semifinal who aren't Korean. And if they're on the same side, that means a non-Korean makes it to the final.
I like how we call it Worlds, but it's really Korea.
Yeah, everybody versus Korea. Absolutely. Alright, so we'll go ahead and Group D. Flash Wolves is the number 1 seed coming out of Southeast Asia. We have Misfits as the number 3 seed coming out of, number 2 seed coming out of Europe. TSM from Valiant MSI, the number 1 seed coming out of NA. And WE as the number 3 seed from China getting drawn in there. I mean, that's the scariest draw for TSM because they couldn't have gotten Cloud9. So everybody was like, and they couldn't have gotten Fnatic. Like, they could have gotten Fenerbahce. That was the one team they could have got, but it required Cloud9 to go into Group C. So the minute Cloud9 was drawn, we knew what all the groups were, actually. And they were the first one drawn, they went to Group A, and we go, okay, it's going to be Fnatic, Fenerbahce, WE. But, yeah, I mean, I think you got TSM, who's looked good going in.
Yep.
They have utterly failed at Worlds before, a couple times. But we're looking at Flash Wolves, who does show up. They are known as the Korean Killers. They are the team who, in group stages, can beat Korean teams. However, they're also the team that still doesn't get out of group stages. They'll win a game or 2 against, they'll win like one of the games off the Koreans, and they'll like get into a tie for a second, and then lose the tiebreaker.
They're like Fabi.
They are Fabi, yeah. They're the gatekeeper, but they're not.
They are the gatekeeper.
They're the gatekeeper, but they're not a pro.
Are you familiar with Fabi?
I am not. No. And is this Flash Wolves that you said you were talking about?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think Fabi is actually associated with any team.
He was
ever.
for a short bit.
Oh, was he?
He was a pro for Curse.
Basically, he's incredibly inconsistent. He is either Old Testament God, just raining death on the other team.
Isn't that how most people are in League of Legends? Like, I've played games where I've gone like 30-0-5, and then I've gone games where I've been like 0-15-2.
Now,
I'm like,
this guy is also the base of Challenger tier. Like, he's really good. And he's called the gatekeeper for that. Like, it just always happens, like, people are, like, rising up out of Diamond, and they're trying to get into Challenger, and they face Fabi, like, in their promo series, like, 2 or 3 times. And it's like, you have to beat Fabi to make it. He is the gatekeeper.
Now, I want you to imagine Fabi with bad games as bad as yours, or good games as good as Faker's.
He will solo carry...
That's mostly both ends of the spectrum.
He will solo carry a team, and you're like, why is this guy not on a pro team? And then the very next game, he will be the biggest rock tied around their neck ever. And you're like, that's why. I understand now. Thank you, sir, for answering my question in such a quick and succinct manner. Yeah. So anyway, though,
That's Flash Wolves.
I mean, Flash Wolves doesn't play like crap, though. They just don't. They're not good enough generally, but they do have those flashes of brilliance. I think TSM, they've looked good. I mean, they're the number 1 seed coming out of NA. The only reason they aren't the number 1 seed in a group is because they fucked up at MSI. and they've looked better since then, I feel. Misfits, number 2 seed coming out of EU, they were fairly unexpected. They had some points in the first split. They got second place here in the summer split, which got them that automatic number 2 bid, which is why Fnatic didn't get the number 2 bid.
Yep.
And, I mean, heading into this tournament, if you would have said who's better, Fnatic or Misfits, I would have said Fnatic. After play-ins, I don't believe that anymore.
Huh.
But I also haven't seen Misfits play recently, so that's just me seeing Fnatic in recency bias going, wow, they're kind of an old smelly pair of shoes. Like, what the fuck is this?
They're not doing so great.
And then WE, who we've seen, number 3 seed coming out of China. They have been talked up as possibly being the best team coming out of China. I don't know that I believe that. Maybe they're totally sandbagging. But I feel like they've looked decent.
Yeah, right now in this pick, I've got WE in 4th place, and I don't know that that's necessarily the proper place for them.
Probably not, but it could be. I mean, if they weren't sandbagging, they might end up in 4th.
They played both really well, and they played really poorly in their play-ins. And so it's really hard to gauge. Like, I mean, we've obviously talked about this every single episode. Were they really playing as well as they could have, or were they playing just well enough to beat that team?
Yeah, because it's always just well enough, it seems. And, like, are they choosing to do that or what?
Yeah, and it's really...
Or do they play down to their competition, up to their competition? Like, we don't know.
Yeah.
It sucks. It's kind of like Fnatic, actually. Like, are they actually this bad, or are they just, like, lazy?
They're making it really hard to make these choices.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, I think Fnatic is honestly better than 4... But the way they've played, they're not playing.
They haven't earned better than 4 so far, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm going to say, for mine, TSM's taking the group.
Yep.
I have struggles after there. My brain, my bias towards knowing China is a great region, says WE should take 2. Knowing what Flash Wolves can do and seeing what WE has done, I'm like, well, Flash Wolves could take 2, maybe. And then being like, I mean, but I haven't seen Misfits in a while, and I know Flash Wolves are inconsistent, and what I've seen out of WE, maybe Misfits can take 2. I feel like saying this group has 2 contenders as opposed to 1.5 contenders is gracious.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know that I trust WE. I want to pick them. I think that's who I have in my pick'em right now, but I don't trust them.
As them in number 2?
Yeah, I don't.
WE?
Yeah, I don't trust them. I don't trust them at all. But I also don't trust the other 2 teams at all either. And I'm just gonna go ahead. What do I have for upset so far? I'm gonna see if I need another upset. I have SKT. I have C9 as an upset, and I've got Samsung taking G. I do have 2 upsets already, technically. So I'm gonna go ahead, take WE as second.
Ooh.
Flash Wolves Misfits. That's mine, because if I did not have 2 upsets already, I would have said Flash Wolves making it out of groups, and then I don't know who I would have picked WE Misfits. I have no idea. So I'm kind of glad I already had my 2 upsets and I can, like, be happy. So yeah, we're gonna go... Chase, you went last time? Well, you're still thinking over your pain, so we're gonna go to Zay.
So, I am still clinging to my 3-year-old views of all these teams.
Of TSM and WE, because the other ones didn't exist.
And especially after seeing the Cloud9 Lions game. Like, Cloud9 is just as much the piece of dog shit that I've always thought they were.
Because
I just
they won?
hate them. I hate them.
That's what you get for picking against them, nerd.
That is why TSM is number 1. Because 3 years ago, TSM was my number 1. I fucking loved them.
Baylife.
Admittedly, they still had...
You know, loved TSM back in the day. Their motto was "fuck it."
They were. Dyrus. I remember Dyrus. I remember Reggie. Double Lift was TSM.
No, he is now. Double Lift was CLG. Back then, they would have originally had... They had Wild Turtle more recently when Cloud9 came on the scene. Before that, they had, oh my god, what was his name? Oh my god, I can't remember.
I'm sorry.
I remember when he left the house and, like, him and Dyrus were hugging and crying. Fucking tear fully stacked.
This is admittedly a wild...
Turtle.
Off topic. A wild turtle.
He was there.
He played a mean Draven, I remember that.
Yes, he did. And Caitlyn.
Now... This is admittedly off topic. Who, the 100 Acre Lane, what team was that? Piglet and Pooh?
it was Piglet and Pooh, yes.
On what team?
Samsung Galaxy White, I believe.
Where did I put them?
It's Samsung Galaxy now, and you put them as first. And
Cool.
there used to be white and black,
I loved Piglet.
or was it
and
white
Pooh.
and blue? I don't remember. But yeah, I'm pretty sure they were Samsung Galaxy White because they won Worlds one year.
Admittedly, the TSM roster is probably completely foreign to me now, but I want to love them the same way that I hate Cloud9.
I mean, you know, Double Lift.
I do.
Yeah.
Double Lift is good.
God. So TSM number one.
for sure. And then the last three are really just going to be a crapshoot for me.
That's how I feel.
Um,
So you're not alone.
We'll go
WE doesn't show up. I'm not going to be surprised.
Flash Wolves, Misfits, WE.
Woo! All right, going straight up all the way down. And Chase for the final picks of the night.
As far as this goes, I will give TSM, Misfits, Flash Wolves, WE. I may make changes.
Yeah, okay, that's all right. So,
Like, not there, but here.
so guys, just before we finish it up, then, who's your team? Who are you rooting for?
In all of Worlds?
In group stage.
In group stage.
Yeah, right now. I mean, granted, that's who you would love to have win Worlds. We're not saying who do you think's gonna win. It's who do you want? Who is your pony? Like your Lion Gaming of the plans.
Right.
Who's your team that you're tying your heart to?
I'm cheering on Cloud9, Immortals,
You going straight to NA?
Fenerbahce,
Oh, and Fenerbahce. Okay.
and TSM, obviously.
Yeah. So you're going NA plus Fenerbahce.
Well, Immortals is...
Yeah,
Yes,
Immortals
sir.
is the number 2.
Aha!
I mean, you don't have to pick one from each group either.
I think
just saying
I'm
who-
gonna
who you
go-
love.
USA!
Yeah, that'd be,
Plus Turkey.
I'm okay with that.
I think I'm going to go...
Thanksgiving. So Chase is rooting for Thanksgiving.
Good. TSM, Fenerbahce, Samsung.
All right. I mean, Cloud9's my boys. I'm completely tied to Cloud9.
We're close. I'm over here.
I like some guys from Immortals too, so they're probably my number 2. And you gotta love the underdog Fenerbahce. And I would like to see Flash Wolves do well because I've seen them fail. I'd like to see G2 do well, but it's Cloud9. I want to see Cloud9 win. Like, I want to see them make it out of this group, a hard group, and win a match in the eliminations. But we'll see.
Yeah.
Anybody have a dark horse that, like, the team you don't expect to do well that you're just dying for?
Fnatic, obviously.
Ooh, yeah, I'd say they're a dark horse right now. Absolutely.
I would say Fnatic WE. Like, I mean, you seem to think that WE might be able to pull themselves out of this group.
I have more
And-
faith in them than Fnatic.
And I don't disagree with you, but, like, Fnatic WE. Or, no, sorry. Fnatic WE. No. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, my dark horse that I would root for, like, Fnatic's great and all. I don't know. I don't want to root for them partly because I don't want them to knock Immortals out. I think Flash Wolves. I've seen them play a couple Worlds, and I've seen them, like, with Flash as a brilliance, and I want to see them actually show up and get the number 2 slot. I'd like to see them make it out of groups.
Well, I mean, I've watched them play through, like, these last 2 sets, and I'm like...
Flash WE.
No, like, everyone. And I'm like,
yeah.
I'm starting to grow attached to these teams
No, exactly,
as I watch
yeah.
them play.
Yeah, absolutely, and you should be.
It's like, I wouldn't have cheered on WE prior to 2 weeks ago, but now I'm like, WE, they've got heart, they've got Chinese, and they're gonna win.
They've got heart and they've got Chinese.
Yeah.
Is that one of the Captain Planet rings I totally forgot about?
Yeah.
Earth, wind, fire, Chinese, heart.
There's like fucking 2 billion of them.
I guess wind was Chinese, right?
Yes, she was.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I kind of that's what my...
I figured Fnatic's your boys.
I wouldn't call
You
them
dirty,
my
dirty
boys.
European.
I
Because they
just-
played like shit earlier so far.
I mean, what are the numbers on their matches? They've only lost one match when it was already sealed, right?
Well, was it already sealed? No, it might have been. I don't remember. I don't think it was already all decided.
I mean,
for
like,
them.
to the best of my knowledge, they've only lost one match, and it was
You're
when
right.
it
They
had
have
no
only lost the
stake in their placement.
I think it could have switched them 1 and 2 had Young Generation won the following match or something. No, maybe it might have been locked up. I don't remember. But yeah, they only lost one. They did almost lose the other one, but still, you're right. They've only lost one match.
I mean, like, what you guys are saying about Cloud9... What you guys
Clyde
are saying-
Noun!
Cloud9!
Clyde's a name, it's a proper noun!
What you guys are saying about Cloud9, like, hey guys, hold your chips, don't go all in yet. That's how I feel about Fnatic.
Yeah?
Truthfully,
like I said, I might change my rankings here because, like,
Because you're an indecisive little twat.
Oh, basically. Well, it's not necessarily that I'm an indecisive twat. It's that I only know the players in which that I've seen thus far.
You're right. Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, because that's the fun thing about this. Like, he knows old things, you know recent things, and I, like, have the breadth of experience. So, I mean, matches start tonight/tomorrow morning.
Fuck you, Zane. I need more time.
So, I mean, matches start at...
Whippersnapper.
Matches start 1:30 our time, so 12:30 West Coast.
Well, I will be watching the games during work, so I'm okay.
Yeah, it's going to kick off with Royal versus Fenerbahce. G2 versus Samsung follows that. So we get a good match there. We'll see how that group's going to go, I think, right away, because they're two of the teams that we have questions about. Or, not... Yeah, I think that'd be the two we have questions. We think Royal's probably going to be right in the middle. It's Samsung as the third seed. Are they actually like number one material? And is G2 actually going to show up coming at number one out of EU? Then Longzhou Immortals and Fnatic Gigabyte Marines. So get to see if that's a shit show or not. Let's see, the day ends with Cloud9 SKT and EDG HQ.
Ooh.
So, I mean, there's going to be a lot of matches between now and when our next show is.
Did we decide it's 18 or 21 or more?
Let me see, full schedule.
24? Fuck, I don't know how math
Well, no,
works.
that's like a full round. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, there's 6 today.
Oh, so 12
Or
total.
6 tomorrow. There'd be 12. No,
God, we
there'd
got
be 24.
4 days? God damn it, that's so many matches.
Yeah, there'll be
24?
24. There's 6 matches each
Zane's
day.
having trouble keeping up with 12. He's gonna be fucked.
You don't have to watch anything close to all of them.
Don't worry, guys.
So-
Episode 5 will be in 2 weeks after Zane finishes the matches.
Once World is on the next play, yeah. So okay, because they play a full round robin of all 4 groups.
Okay.
So there's 6 matches: Thursday morning, Friday morning, Saturday morning, Sunday morning.
Okay.
Matches end at roughly 7 a.m. each day.
Zane, you just need to start staying up all night.
No, what you need to do is pick the games to watch. Okay, so
Take-
Zane.
Now, admittedly,
Here's
take
for
some power
Zane
pills.
and for anybody else who's watching. And you
for
want to
anyone
know what games
that
to
has
watch.
trouble watching these while at work.
Yeah. So I think first
Get
match.
a better job.
First match of today. RNG versus Fenerbahce. Don't need to watch that. Fenerbahce doesn't matter in this tournament. So you assume Royal never go. You're gonna
You say that to Fenerbahce.
How dare you!
Okay, and also the other thing you can do: look at what the win-losses were, and then look at the upsets. Like, watch the upsets. Watch the ones that say they went longer than 30 minutes,
Yeah.
like that kind of thing. And watch clips of it, whatever. G2 versus Samsung Galaxy. That's going to be a good match, important to watch. Longzhou versus Immortals. Longzhou should beat Immortals. If that's an upset, watch it. If Immortals wins that, watch it. Fnatic versus Gigabyte Marines. Only if Fnatic loses or it's a long game, watch it. Because otherwise it's going to be a fucking shit show.
Yep.
SKT versus Cloud9. No real reason to watch that one unless it's close again. And EDG HQ, EDG should blow them out of the water. If that one's an upset, watch it to see how bad EDG looks or if HQ looks good.
But how do we decide what to talk about next episode? We've got so many
Well,
matches.
like that. We're gonna talk about group standings. Because after during play-in, a group standing was like, well, there's a 2-0, a 1-1, and an 0-2.
Sure.
The thing is, they're each going to play 3 matches. So yeah, you'll have the high and the low, but it'll be like, okay, number 1 team's 3-0, we have 2-2 or 2-1s, and then one team moves 0-3 or something. Like, you're going to have a spread, and then we're going to be able to look back too and say, okay, these were the matches to watch. We're going to pick out those, and like I also said, each group has at least one team who really isn't contesting for it. You don't really need to watch their matches unless they beat a team. So you bide your time that way.
Sure.
I'm going to try and watch as many as I can. Assuming my person I'm training has actually their own computer and access tomorrow, those matches are turning on and they're just going to be running on the side. Am I going to pay super close attention to them? No. I'm going to go back and pay closer attention to ones that I'm like, oh, that was worth watching later.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so don't freak out. Don't think you got to watch them all in order. Pick and choose. And if you feel like you just want to follow the 2 teams you pick to win super closely, fucking do that. We'll get discussions out because they're going to play the other 2 teams.
That's fair.
So, yeah. And each other. Like, if you just pick the 2 teams you pick to win, you're watching, what? 4 matches per group. Which is still 16 matches. Like, if you watch all of theirs. And you don't even need to do that. You can probably watch, 8 to 12 matches and get away with that pretty easily.
Nice.
So, yeah. It's not so bad, guys.
Ooh.
Who's Fraba?
I'm gonna watch them all. Don't worry.
I'm too, so... Well, most of them.
Jeez.
Alright, but I think that really wraps it up for League of Loggers Episode 4.
Yes, sir.
Yes, alright, so...
Wraps it up for the league, but not the loggers.
No, that's exactly right.
We failed.
So, are we actually going to be here on Sunday?
That is.
I'm going to be in Michigan.
Oh,
You're
shit.
gone.
I'm
When are you back?
Gone. I will be back. I'll be back on Tuesday, but Tuesday night is a Queens of the Stone Age concert.
So Wednesday.
I will have one day.
You're going to be on the road. Just watch them on the road.
Yeah.
I'll be on a plane.
You'll be on the plane. Download them and watch them on the plane.
Yeah. You can
There's
download YouTube videos.
There's programs for it, yeah.
Yeah.
And you have a laptop, so it'd be super easy. Yeah.
Okay.
So, quick,
Just think of all the matches
What-
you can watch on the plane.
what day do you leave?
Tomorrow night.
You leave tomorrow night. Okay. Tonight,
You download all the matches.
Well, no, download one of those programs, and then tomorrow, afternoon, you can download the matches that happened yesterday.
We'll help you with this
and watch
after the
whatever.
stream.
We'll do all that. This is good advice for everybody else, though, who may be doing stuff. Whatever. Anyway, yes, that's it for episode 4 of League of Loggers. We'll see you next Wednesday.
Yep.
Cheers.
Cheers.